Yes, we can start the webinar now. Thank you.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. So here we are. Finally, this is the culmination of all our efforts, the ups and the downs, and finally, the easy one. I've just got a printout because I could not finally land with the question paper because strictly we were forbidden to seek any copy from the office. So here it is. Let's all discuss. We will make it a discussing kind of a thing. If any of my friends has any issue, after the exams were over and after the children came out, so in my school in particular, I'm at St. Joseph's Convent High School, Patna, I could see that glee, that gleam, that shine, that relief, which was in straight contrast to the anticipation and the apprehension they had when they were entering the hall. So the very first thing that they told me, that these kids told me, was that when we saw the list of compositions over here, we were expecting something with corona, we were expecting something with apprehensions, future life, uncertainty, but nothing of that sort. I'll tell you very honestly, one word that many of them said, that it seemed more like a generic paper. So here we are, the first question that is here, and those who don't have the question paper, they can get it. Write a composition of 300 to 350 words. That was already decided, and 20 marks were allotted for it. If you were granted a special wish that you would choose, I think this is one question that has come many a time in the previous years. Say why you would make this choice. Over here, as an examiner, I would like to emphasize that the way our children would be marked, see, the questions are very clearly demarcated. If you were granted a special wish, what would you choose? And then say why you would make this choice. Number two. And number three, how it will be useful to you. Number three, and your loved ones. Very easily, the entire question paper is divided into 4 parts, making it very easy for children to attempt and secure a 19 out of 20. Yes, hopefully a 20 out of 20 also. So I'm sure all your kids must have done exceedingly well with this question. They must have, if at all they have attempted this question, they must have done full justice to. I'm very sure, especially with the kind of bifurcation of the question, making it very easy for them to attempt. Write a short story. This is a very favored question. Write a short story in which the main characters are. See, we've had similar questions in the past. I remember a particular year where we had a question, write a short story where a man, a small child, and a bag plays an important role. So this question was also something of a similar sort, where an old woman, a small child, and a little puppy. That should make for a good story plot. I'm sure many of my students must have attempted, and we as teachers, I think in my webinar also, I have told you that please encourage them to write these short stories, because of their originality, because of their innovativeness, they are likely to fetch very good marks. So let's see how many of them have actually done it. But if at all they have attempted it, I'm sure the plot in their mind must be very, very, very clear, especially with the inclusion of the word small child and a little puppy. So 3 characters, I'm sure they have attempted the plot and done full justice. Taking up the third one, more learning happens. See, again, I would tell you, we would appreciate ICSE for being a little liberal this time, considering the fact that our children have actually gone through a real traumatic phase. This question also is almost a kind of a reflection that we've had somewhere around 2008, 2009. Yes, Madhumita, you were a little late. Come on, let us join fast. More learning happens outside the classroom. I remember this question was something like, you learn more in the games field than in the classroom. So the topic sounds something very similar, and our children were prepared for it. I think many of us have given them during their 9th standards or 10th standards semester exams and all that. So I'm sure if at all, and I'm sure many of them must have attempted this one also. Moving on, because we are short on time, so I'm moving a little fast. Describe a time. This becomes a descriptive composition. Describe a time when all the lights of your locality. This was a little interesting. I'll be asking your feedback also. Like many of my kids said that, Miss, this question seems to be a very outdated one, because we rarely have a time when the colony goes absolutely dark, 20 years ago, it could have been thought of, but today it is a little unthought of. Nevertheless, the topic is there. Describe a time when all the lights in your locality went off. Number 1, what were the sounds? So the writer has made it the question paper has made it very explicit. that the children were expected to use the oral imagery and the visual imagery. What were the sounds you heard as you sat in the darkness? And of course, the last part is possibly the largest segment of the composition. How did you feel when the lights came on? So I hope our children have incorporated all the points in order to make a compact 354 and 300 to 350 words composition. How did you feel when the lights came on? Now that the examination is over, so we cannot revert the conditions, but for the coming year, let me just suggest that when our children are writing a composition, they must not overlook any aspect of the question. So these days, I talk to some of my children even on phone also, and this is one composition. Very few in my region, very few people have gone for this composition, despite the fact that this is a descriptive composition. So you will have to give me during your feedback as to which was the most attempted question. Moving on to the picture composition, which is a quintessential phenomenon. Yes, this picture composition with a boy struggling with the car wheel and a few, stools and all that. I don't know, not many children attempted this question for the fact that they said that they have not been trained well during these 2 years. So, dear friends, let us once again pick up this question in the coming years so that our children can actually come up with nice, new and different ideas relating to this kind of a question. This year, my observation was that fewer children have attempted picture composition. Fewer children have attempted. That is my analysis. I'll be asking your responses. Moving over to, so the marking over here will basically be done on the authenticity, number one, of the plot, number one. Number two, how the child has correlated the picture and his plot, how he has, how empathetic the child feels towards the thing over here, and of course, his personal or her personal opinion. But obviously, we will be looking forward to this particular picture being given any dimension. It could be given as a reflective composition also. I side the children that I know have attempted, at least none that I knew attempted this question, for the fact that they said, Miss, because of Corona, we were not able to practice picture composition. So nevertheless, we should, in the years to come, encourage them to do that. Moving on to question number two, select one of the following. I'm sure we have trained them well, and they were decided as to which one to choose. Your favorite aunt or uncle. I hope our children have written, because in English, whenever we write dear aunt, we write the name. We make it very specific that they write the name. Dear Aunt Ramola, dear Uncle Shyam, So if they haven't done it, let us insist that they do it in the years to come. Your favorite aunt or your uncle has asked you what you would like as a gift for your birthday. What gift would you choose? That specification part has been given. See, this time the question is very explicitly and very elaborately put in, with these bracket words and all that. I'm sure ICSE has been a little more considerate with this batch in particular. And why would you choose this? A letter has to be written to uncle and aunt thanking him. So the word thank you is important. Rather than highlighting the beauty of the gift, thankfulness, that gratitude has to be there for the kind thought and telling him or her about the gift of your choice. So there are 10 marks allotted, and obviously we will keep 4 marks by and large for the format. I'm sure they must have done it fairly enough. Coming back to the remaining 6 points over here, 3 points. Number one, what gift? Number two, why you would choose it? And number three, thanking. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, making it a 10-mark affair. I repeat, broadly speaking, 4 marks we shall be allotting for the format. 2 marks for one question, 2 marks for the specification of the gift, what the gift is all about. Number 2 marks for thanking, using words of gratitude like, thank you, I'm extremely thrilled, how excited I was. That word, that adjective has to be there where the examiner can put a tick and allot marks. And number 3 is how this gift is going to be precious. How this gift is so very important for the child. So that is the third part. So the child will be elaborating. They have all written, so we know. So let us be very, very happy that the question was comparatively, thankfully, much easier than what we had crossed our fingers for. Moving on to the second question, you are being considered for a head boy, mind it. You are being considered for a head boy or a head girl position in the school. Write a letter to the principal, explaining why you think you would make a good head boy. You know, it's like a personal profile that the child would be expected to do in ICSE. So it's a kind of a preparation. The child is going to talk about her or his qualities that should be good enough to be considered for the position of a head girl. So adjectives will obviously be very important part of that paragraph. You know, whether I'm hardworking, whether I'm diligent, whether I'm consistent, whether I'm focused, whether I have leadership qualities, the competitions that I have participated in, the projects that I have been instrumental in executing and all that. So those points, obviously 10 marks, 4 marks for the format approximately. And for 6 marks, obviously 3 important adjectives, 3 important qualities should be taken care of and properly elucidated. Moving on to, and why does this role interest you? Of course, describe ways in which you would carry out your responsibilities. Very easily divided, you know. Look at the points. Why the role interests you. Number 1, describe ways in which you would carry out your responsibilities. Number 2, and obviously why you in particular should be given this responsibility. What edge do you have over others? So that makes it a 2 + 2 + 2, making it a 6 marks affair and 4 marks for project, making it easy for the child to attempt and making it easy for the examiner to mark. Move on to the third one. Yes, this was a little tricky. I shall be asking you a question. I hope we have enough time for that. March 22nd is the World Water Day, mind it, and they're writing the exam in April. March 22 is the World Water Day. All of us know that. The School Dramatics Club is planning to stage. Over here, I had, children buzzing with curiosity as to what exactly should have been the pattern, because they're writing the exam on 25th and they had to date this notice for 22nd. So over here, I'm sure when we are going for, let us attend that small little session where we shall be discussing how the marks would be awarded. But as far as I think what we discussed with our heads and departments, please allow me to have your feelings also, that the children will be given this benefit of doubt, because some of them have marked it as 22nd March, but some of them have been, have had the wit to mark it as 25th and, invent a date for the same. So over here, there was a kind of a little of discrepancy. We'll discuss about it. And when I go for the meeting of the ICSE, I'm sure this is one point that is going to be picked up. So we shall be informed according to this and how the marking would be done. But I'm sure we are going to work in the favor of our children. Write a notice to be put up on the school notice board giving details of the event. So that the catch line is going to be important over here. World Water Day, save water, save life, something of that sort. So that is going to be important. Point number 1. The date is going to be important. Point number 2, venue is going to be important. Venue is going to be important. Number 3, and as we proceed over here, what exactly are the project? What are the things we are going to do on that day? 4, and then the entire formatting of the we have got the format of notice, so we shall be discussing. And in the same context, we have write an email to the principal of a neighboring school. Did you notice one thing? That normally when we have this question number 3, part 1 and part 2, they are normally coordinated. The notice is in relation to the email, or the email is connected with the notice. But this is possibly something unprecedented that has happened. Write an email to the principal of a neighboring school requesting him or her to send a team of children to participate in the interactive session which will follow. Interactive session which will follow. So it is not concerning the session itself, but it is what will follow thereafter, what ensues, what is the fallout of that program. So this is a little different. Normally our children over here, there were a little, few hiccups as to the children said that we actually thought that email would be relating to, asking the principal to send participants for the World Water Day program and all that. But this was a little where they had to use their, innovativeness. A team of children to participate in the interactive session that follows, which will follow. So after the play, this is going to be what exactly was the response of the people, of the audience. This was going to be an email to the neighboring school requesting him to send a team of children to participate. So these children would not participate in the play. These children would participate as an audience and then be a part of the session that would be. So over here, the children that I came across, the enthusiasm that they had in the first few questions, it was a little less over here because they were a little apprehensive of losing a few points in this regard. You will have to tell me, I'm taking up, you will have to help me. What exactly was the response from your side? Could I have my friends up there? Thank you. Could I have Shanti? Could you please share your views in this regard quickly? Sorry, ma'am. Braganza, sir, could you please share your views in this regard?
Well, we are the first year in the ICSE. I'm not Mr. Braganza, I miss. And
just a second, I'm sorry for that. Okay, I offer my apologies. Yes, ma'am.
This is our first batch of ICSE, and our students have reasonably done very well. In fact,
Very
they
good.
said our paper was much, this paper was much easier than the pre-boards we've had.
Mm-hmm.
So even this email, they did it well.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Any issue that they had, any apprehension that they really thought was
not much, maybe, but tomorrow we'll have more time to discuss because we gave them time to prepare for tomorrow's test exam.
Sure. So we shall be meeting tomorrow again, and
Sure.
let us talk. And then we will be talking about both literature and language.
Sure.
And we will meet at length. That was so nice, so sweet of you to have shared. Rashmi, could you have some words with me? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I think, today children did not get much time to interact with us because they were in a hurry to go home. And we didn't think, it would be right to delve deeply because in case somebody has not done well, they will feel disheartened for tomorrow's paper. That is why I did not ask them much. But from the feedback that I got, children were pretty happy with the paper.
Yeah.
Overall paper, they were very happy. So they were expecting very difficult compositions, and notice was all right, but email slightly shaky. I don't think they have picked on the right thing about the interactive session. So though they mentioned, I think we could lose 1 mark there.
There is a possibility. There is a possibility.
There is a possibility, yeah.
There is a possibility. There is just one question in the chat box, that is it okay to write 22nd March? So just as I told you,
see, I think, usually the benefit of doubt is given to the child. So though 22nd March is mentioned, they might be lenient from that point of view.
Correct. We just hope so. And more importantly, I'm sure this thing must be very common to every child across in India, all over India. So when we are going for the meeting and all, I am very sure this point will be brought up and discussed. And I have, I'm very positive about this fact that this will be taken in the, the children will have the benefit.
Yeah.
I'm very sure. Let us all be very positive about it. Yes.
Yes. So. Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Would you ask something?
Pardon?
No, I was asking Janice would like to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Yes, as rightly said by the other teachers as well. Okay, the feedback was mainly it was a very good paper overall, except for notice they were a little bit skeptical about the date. So like they just came rushing to me and they said, "Ma'am, I've written 22nd March 2020." Someone had said 2022, and someone said 2023. Ma'am, what is it going to be like? So they were all little bit worried, and this I said, just relax, calm down. Okay, you'll have done your paper now. You'll go, because I didn't want to get them worked up for tomorrow's paper now. So I said, just go, because here we wanted a discussion forum, and that is here we are for. So I'm really very happy about it. Getting to know some ideas and details from you, ma'am. So, and they have also kept, some of them had kept in mind 14 days gap or 15 days gap, thinking they said, ma'am, keeping in mind the pandemic that was there, we were offline, and now we have come online, so we can have the program now, keeping in the month of May. So would that be also accepted? So that is one thing, that they had in their mind.
Yeah, I think their questions were also correct. But we can make a guess, but our experience tells us that ICSE will be, I am very sure, we are all very sure that they will consider this, and will obviously, the children are definitely going to have the benefit of it.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. That should be the thing. Thank you so much, ma'am.
If they still give you a call, you can tell them, just be rest assured and prepare for tomorrow's exam.
Yes, because they were very happy with the paper. They said, excellent paper, ma'am, except for this, we are a little bit, I said, no, don't worry, just be rest assured now. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
No, but I'm very, very, very positive that the ICSE will give this benefit to our children. Okay, I just get a question here. If by mistake we wrote surname 2 in the informal letter, is there any chance that the marks will be deducted? Not at all. No, like this is for the birthday gift. They shouldn't have written the surname. So don't tell them anything now. Don't tell them anything now. But if they've written a name, they written their second name, please ask them not to do it in the forthcoming years. In the informal letters, they will just write their first name. But now that they have written, we cannot do anything. So let us not tell them, oh, you'll be losing or whatever. Just tell them, not to worry for these papers. Whatever is done is done. Now they should focus on literature and other subjects and all that. So that's how it is. I think that question is answered. Can I have the full name, SC? That would be nice to associate with you. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Manju ma'am, Leena ma'am? Let this also be a kind of a session where we can make suggestions for the forthcoming years. If not at length, at least in bit, so that we can prepare our children for, for the coming years. Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
At same questions the other teachers were asking regarding the notice writing only. We could not actually interact with the students. Only some phone calls had come after the exams regarding the date. So I said, you just calm down yourself. The same thing we have said. So after the exams and all, we'll discuss, no doubt. They were just asking about the dates only. Yeah. That notice writing part. Last all, it was quite easy. They have written very well if they said that.
Very good, very good. All credit goes to you all. And
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So I guess, ma'am, everyone has asked the doubts, and we can wind up the webinar. Any doubts to anyone still left?
In this workshop at Calcutta, we were told something very witty, that a language paper is normally all these years, barring one, Rashmi ma'am, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Very nice. You can also refer to this anecdote. This teacher of ours, this trainer of ours said that we should be awarded a Padma Shri. We wondered what for. They said, this is one question paper that not one question we have done, not one we do. And we send these children without having done one single question from this text. So mark the what exactly the intention was, that we do questions, but they need not be exactly what is there in the question paper, isn't it? And yet our children do so well. So let me congratulate you all for all your hard work, for all your efforts, and for joining us for this session. And your responses also do share with all of us, though I shall be conducting, but we will all share things in the larger interest of our children. Any suggestion that you would like to make for the exam tomorrow? Let us share that, because we still have at least 12 hours to go. Anything in particular? Let us use this 5 minutes for that.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Every single drop makes an ocean. That would be, somebody's asking, that would it be an appropriate notice? If I were an examiner, I would definitely not deduct marks, but would not be very happy with the title either. Because let the title of the notice, let the heading of the notice be a little quirky, a little short, precise, and crisp, rather than make it a full long kind of a thing. Is it okay? Yes.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Ma'am, yeah, this is regarding this current paper and not tomorrow's paper. If I may proceed, I just a small ambiguity with regards to how the question is framed. I just wanted to understand when this particular question of notice, as it's discussed right now, and ma'am, it says the school dramatics club is planning to stage a one-act play to mark the occasion. So most of the children believed if it is to mark the occasion of the World Water Day, so maybe
Yes.
Not specifically March 22nd has to be the day when it is done. So that particular event can be celebrated any other day as well. So most of our children, so most of our children have taken, about 15 days ahead and then planned the notice date. So, going by how it is worded. So we just hope that, next time or in future papers, even the examiners would give a little thought about how the students are going to interpret this particular language, because it gets a little confusing for them. If you're marking the occasion and you're going to celebrate it later, or if you are giving the date because you want us to use that particular date, there's a lot of confusion on that account. So just that.
When we have the meeting, I shall be conveying this to the boards. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, we come to the end of today's session.
Yes,
I wish
ma'am.
we were a little longer, but we promise to meet again tomorrow, 6 o'clock. I'll have Vaishali joining us, and she would like to have a word with you all.
Yeah, I would like to thank all of you for joining the webinar, and a special thanks to Alka ma'am for making this session so interactive and such a wonderful session. Thanks a lot, ma'am. And I'll see you all again. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. See you all tomorrow. God bless. All the best for tomorrow's exam.
Thank you, ma'am.